You know, it's devastating in a way. Is that you wake up, you know, as an adult, and you know, you've always been giving everything a chance. I've always been giving everything a chance in this country. You know what I'm saying? And I always loved everybody. You know what I mean? And listened to everybody's point of view and absorbed it and listened and watched. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, but in your soul sometimes there's this calling and there's this voice. You know, and you're aware of um, the truth, you know, the spirit of truth, so to speak. You know, you become aware of it. You know, and I was lucky and fortunate enough in my younger days to spend a long time out on the ocean and working out on the ocean and on a daily basis, just being out there and having the time to think about life and contemplate the human condition and contemplate religions and everything. You know, people think I'm crazy because I'm like, you know, one week I'm like, I'm Jewish, I'm Muslim, I'm Hindu. Like, you know, I go through that. You know, I'm like Dead Mike in CB4. Um, but see, the thing that people don't understand is like, it's about being all things to all men. You know, and with you have that's part of being able to be tolerant and identify with people, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like when I studied the Jewish religion, I became a Jew. You know, I lived like a Jew. You know, I found a lot of things similar to Native American religion. I realized we're tribal people. You know, Islam the same way. You know, the same thing. Buddhism the same thing. You know, there's a divide. There's a people of the earth. You know, the Nation of Islam calls them, you know, original man. You know, there are people of the earth, man. Original man. Big nose, big feet, big dick. You know, and I am part of these original men. You know, and I don't think I'm greater than anyone or anything. I'm just an Indian, man. And, you know, people are like, well, you're white, too. And it's like, well, let's just get this out of the way right now. Is like, I'm not white. Because my blood is tainted by Indian blood. You know what I mean? So no, I'm not white, and I don't want to be white. I never wanted to be white. You know, I don't like the way white people live. I don't. They're liars. They're manipulators. They lie. They are the biggest liars, yo. They never blame themselves. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just white people, but having grown up around, I didn't have one black kid in my school growing up. I had Indians, Hindus, and Sikhs, but there was never an African American in my elementary school. You know what I mean? So I didn't grow up around black people like that. They were 30 miles to the south in New York City. You know what I mean? So, and I don't mean to say it like they were. You know what I mean? Like, because I love black people, and I have them. There are black people in my family. You know what I mean? So I have ancestors that are African. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's like, you know, I came to a point in my life where I realized how much I had been lied to. You know, and I realized how one-sided the teachings of my life had been. And it was sad. It was a cataclysmic moment. It was a catastrophic moment even. You know, because you realize that everything growing up that you learned was a lie. It was a lie. It was a depiction of history by the victor, and what they did was they swept under the rug all of the catastrophe that they caused, and pain, and sorrow, and murder, and genocide, all the disease. And the reason that the white man brought disease to the Indians is because they were dirty. They didn't bathe. They were disgusting. They practiced sodomy religiously. It is what it is. And the Spaniards were worse. You know? They just killed everything. And a lot of this boils down to feminine deity worship. Femininity. Think about, what is a woman's claim to fame? Childbirth, right? Childbirth. And when men were not so smart or illuminated, they probably put the woman up on a pedestal because they wanted to breed, they wanted to create their line. Look at the Bible, look at the Old Testament. Testament, everything was about multiplying and being fruitful. Everything was about getting your seed and starting your line. Everything was about genealogy in the Old Testament, in the first book. You know what I mean? And even in Exodus a little bit, Deuteronomy, yeah, but it talks more about family structure and it's more of the law. But if you look in Genesis, it's about the beginning. You know what I mean? And spreading the seed and trying to make a race, a godly race. We all know what happened, or what they said happened, you know? And see, that's what happens with the perversion of ancient history. You know what I mean? See, it's like Catholicism, for instance. You know, it's like the whole story is never told. See, here in America, we just get the watered down version of Catholicism. Nobody is talking about how people weren't allowed to hold the Bible, how people were given little bits of information here and there and were kept under control, just like a herd. And the Catholic Church never hid this. Because Jesus is the shepherd, you know, so what are they doing? They're herding the mass. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but, you know, you have to understand that these people in these established institutions since ancient times have caused very, very much destruction. You know, some people say it's necessary evil. Some people say it's just genocide and disgusting and evil, you know what I mean? But a lot more people say it's evil than say it's good. The Crusades, the Inquisitions, all this bullshit, you know? And I got news for you, boys and girls. The Crusades and Inquisition are still going on today. And this is why history is so important. Because whether you know it or not, in America, you are being indoctrinated on a daily basis with certain ideologies. Now, you're given a choice in your free will to decide which ideology you wish to follow. See, some of us don't think into it that much, so we have technology to do it for us, because there's scientists that are creating and developing algorithms that cater and tailor fit to you the information in which you are to be fed. And it's funny because, you know, you can think that Google is the almighty emerald tablet, and you're wrong, because what can happen is people can tailor fit technology, people can tailor fit information to put it in your mind through reading and visual uptake, and in essence control your mind. And it happened to me in my life, and I was blessed to get out of it, and, you know, but I am now aware of it. You know, and listen, I'm not William Cooper. This isn't Behold the Pale Horse. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is just what it is. This is not what basic established man has created. This is the human condition since the beginning and inception of man, since original man. You know what I mean? So with that being said, this is the human condition. This is the human psychology. You know, and you ask why history is so important. Well, you know, Solomon said it himself. Nothing new is under the sun. Vanity, oh vanity. You know, it's like we just take things and we build on them. But at the end of the day, the essence of the idea, the essence of the process, the essence of the fruition of the results comes from the basic knowledge that we've already earned, indeed, thousands and thousands of years, millenniums ago. You know, if you touch the stove, you're going to burn yourself. You know what I mean? That's an ancient tradition. You know, things people say in language. See, people say things every day and they don't know what they're saying. That's why. Jesus said it. You know, the mouth is like, I think Jesus said it. I'm not sure, but whatever. Someone said it attributed to Jesus or himself. So what happened was, he said the mouth is like a double-edged sword. It gives life and death, right? So if we're giving life and death out of the mouth, and out of the heart, out of the mouth comes the abundance of the heart, don't you think we ought to think before we speak, and we ought to know when we say something like a phrase or a common phrase or something of that nature, we should know where it comes from and where it's derived from. You know, in the Old Testament, they were talking about witchcraft and idolatry and the evil of the brotherhood of the snake since ancient times. Right? Right. Okay. This is what they were talking about. And now, millennia later, we look forward and we look at where we are today, and we can now see the fruition of the societies of the people that the Old Testament was speaking about, whether it was in Babylon, Sumeria, wherever in the Holy Land, Egypt. Relevant. History is relevant every day. Because if you don't know your history, now you shouldn't use history to become hateful. You know what I mean? The extent of your hate in history should only be in politely putting people in their place. And you do that by, bibliography. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where I took this from. I have also built on these thoughts with my own.